Okay.
Something happened. What happened? Let's see. I forgot that.
I didn't take them down.
I think we're live.
You are.
Hello.
Yeah.
See, they're there.
Let me stop doing this.
All right. All right. Now I can see both. All right. Hold on. I'm just doing some clicking. All right. Hey, y'all.
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
So here's everybody's name. I'm about to take it off the screen, but I'll put it back up in a little bit because we have a conversation to be had. And I want folks to know why they are here. So thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Friday Night Live. I wrangled my folks in literally at the last minute, and these are my sisters who answered the call. We all know the state of what has happened in the United States, but the conversation has changed when it comes to Black women and their participation in movements since this election. So if you're meeting me for the very first time, my name is Tracie Collins. Hello. And I go live every Friday night at this particular time on YouTube. And then hello to Instagram, hello to LinkedIn, and hello to both of my Facebook pages. And so I want to introduce my folks, and I will start with D. She's muted.
Yes. Good afternoon. Buenas noches, buenas tardes to all of you. I am Dee Watkins. I run a company called Brown Girls Invest Too. I have a YouTube channel with the same name. My goal is to help Black women grow their money by saving more, spending less, and growing their money through investing in the stock market. This is very important, not just for your ideas of retirement or traveling. It is for your life at this point. Thank you, Tracie, for having me on.
Thank you. Jewel.
Oh, I hit a button and I don't see the screen anymore. Y'all still see me?
We see you.
Yes, we see you.
We see you.
My name is Jewel Pearson. I am Miss Bohemian Soul on all of the socials. As I introduce myself, I always say that I built a fancy tiny house in 2015, and I share my journey to hopefully inspire others interested in the movement, Black and brown folks interested in the movement, to help us be able to be within the movement. I feel like it is so much of a piece of our a possibility for our liberation journey. And I think that's it. Thank you for having me, Tracie.
Thank you. And Bobby.
Hello, everyone. I am Bobby Robinson. I am half of the YouTube channel Aging Grateful, as well as I am a real estate professional and move abroad relocation coach here in San Miguel de Allende. You can find me as at the prepared agent, because I am the prepared agent and I am prepared to prepare you for your move abroad journey.
That was like a commercial.
Thank you, Tracie.
She is prepared to prepare you. Okay.
Right. So my name is Tracie Collins. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you to my sisters who definitely decided to join me at the last minute. And I am a business strategist, and I work with women to either scale up or scale out. I help women create sellable businesses. And I also live here in Mexico with Dee and Jewel. This is her second home, San Miguel de Allende. And so we are so happy to have you. And this particular conversation really was derived from the women who are planning a move abroad or already left. So this is why you see these particular individuals on the screen. Not only are they my sisters in my everyday life, but these are women that I respect. I appreciate their opinion and perspective, and who add great value and context to this conversation. So please be sure that you drop your commentary in the chat. I will do my best to respond. But let's get started, you guys. So for those of you guys who don't know, this is actually part 2 of the conversation that I had. That I did a video when Kamala Harris was appointed, or whatever, for the Democratic Party. And there was this big call for Black women to, here we go again, let's forge the movement. And honestly, you guys, for me, it pissed me off because everybody is always calling on a Black woman's labor. And so this is part 2 to that conversation, because now we're on the other side. So let's get started. How did you guys feel, or how do you guys feel now that it's set in? Not to make this conversation all about politics, I really want to center around us as Black women and what's next. Don't all jump in.
How do I feel? I feel like, first of all, since this has all happened, I've not watched a concession speech. I am very much into politics, right? And I've not been able to. I've not watched any of the channels or the coverage that I had been watching all along through the entire campaign season. And that's just because I've been a little down about it, right? More than a little down. And it feels like I have to go, not me. I feel like my people have to go underground for some reason. I don't want to make it seem like it's all doom and gloom, but that's kind of what it feels like. And I've been trying to come out on the other side to find how I'm going to be okay. Not just me, my family. I'm going to be fine. Financially, I'm good. I don't think I'm going to be able to turn the television on for probably the next, I think maybe 16 years. 16 years, y'all. Think about that. That's how I feel.
I had this conversation earlier today. I have lived in rural America in my tiny house since about 2018. I had my house in the city, in the Charlotte area, and then I was forced to move it out in rural America. And where I feel like people in urban spaces, Black folks in urban spaces, are having an awakening of the ugliness. I feel like I've seen this since 2018, having to had to move my house twice because of racism. So none of this has been what I've always known to be brewing. And this has been what I've always seen as I drive in the area where my home is. So this isn't new. I wasn't shocked. Well, disappointed. Absolutely was not shocked. I'm not shocked about the go forward and the nastiness of what is to be expected coming from this administration, all of the things that are to happen. I'm not shocked or at all or caught off guard, because I have already seen this happening in the spaces that I have to live in. It, to me, kind of like what Dee said, where you said you feel like you need to go underground. I have said for many years now, like the spaces where I live in, I've never been a gun owner. I am a gun owner. I have been for several years now. I don't leave home without it, because I know the spaces. I know the energy in the spaces that I live in. So I feel like I've already been mentally preparing myself for this. And but I've also been sharing with people what I have seen out in rural America. Every weekend they're out in the woods doing their thing, preparing. And one of my friends said, well, it's hunting season. No, it's always that out in the woods that they are practicing every weekend. So, and I've shared that with my friends. So what I am feeling right now is more of the same, of that protection, of that plan. With my tiny house, I always, I share it has wheels, so I always have a plan A through Z for relocating. Sometimes it's the relocation of my home, and sometimes it's the relocation of me. That is part of the journey of me having built my home. So there absolutely has to be, like, now that the rest of us are seeing this energy, this ugliness, I feel like, it is, people are shocked and trying to figure out what to do and scrambling. And I think this is something that I've always known was the case. And now it is go into the plans that I've already been thinking of, because I knew this energy existed.
I will say, and I said this earlier this week on my Facebook and Instagram, they never loved us.
Never.
They never loved us, and
never
I
will.
would no, and I always say I attribute it to an abusive relationship. It is, when are we going to get tired of being treated this way? Because this time we thought and we hoped and we kept hope alive, right? And then America did what it has always done, which is to show you who they are. And to me, it has never changed. That's what this country was built on and founded on. And it is fighting very hard to maintain it. And it is really very much up to us to decide that we are ready to break up with this relationship. It's abusive.
Well, one of the things that I struggle with is tact. So when you guys see me kind of take a deep breath, it's really because I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this without being offensive.
Oh, wait. I didn't realize we were supposed to be doing that. I'll do better.
Oh. Because I think Black people suffer from delusion. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. I don't know why Black people continue to beg for a relationship with white America. I have no idea where that is coming from. And it's that abusive relationship, but it is also about, it has been beaten and browbeaten into us. So it's an epigenetic thing that we have to contend with. So with that being said, my question is, like, what's next for Black women and how are they going to start because I think the people who are on this screen have made decisions for themselves to either exit, planning an exit, financially prepare, work online, heavy investments, all of the things. But there's still a great deal of us who are in the States. And then I hear a lot of conversation, hence this one particular too, that is happening on social media. But at some point, these conversations have to come off of social media because they all look into business. What they doing,
Absolutely.
what they doing. And so what that does is it gives them leverage. And there's other measures that need to be put in place. Like for me, I'm a womanist through and through. If you are a sexually active woman with a man, you need to make sure you do not get pregnant. You need to have a contingency plan in place because the reproductive rights that you thought you had or that were diminishing are going to be gone completely.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
for every person that loves a woman, has a mother, has a daughter, has a niece, a friend, anybody who is connected to anybody, that their life can be in jeopardy when it comes to their reproductive health.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I also agree with the fact of this is just future. Please work on this, guys. I am all about, you need to also have multiple places to go. Residency. You don't have to move abroad. You don't have to move abroad. No, there's a lot of steps in order to do that, but you can surely make sure you have residency in other countries. Go visit different places. Have the residency, your passports, have all of that ready. Some money stashed away. Because if you have to get out, if you have to leave, because I know there are very much people who say they want, this is our country, my family, blood, sweat, and tears, and died for kudos to you. I'm not trying to change your mind. Absolutely not. But what I am saying is that you very much need to do what our ancestors did not have the ability to do, and that's to have options. Right. Have the option to be able to leave.
Right. And so she's saying that she's not trying to encourage you to move out of the country. Just be prepared to do that and do that sooner rather than later. They are already they're starting to build this cabinet. The new administration is building their cabinet. One of the first people they've named has been the person that's going to be over the State Department. The State Department is what allows you to get your passport or to get a visa. Okay. All they have to do is defund certain departments, and that's going to slow down the process of processing a visa or allowing you to have a passport. Please do it sooner rather than later. Do not allow them to cut budgets of things that you're going to need, and you won't be able to take advantage of those things. She mentioned money. I am all about money, right? I want to have options to do whatever it is I want to do when the F I want to do it, all right? And I am able to do that. I'm fine financially. There are a lot of people. I don't want you to be in a position where money you had and you just been living your life, right? And then you find out you can't live your life later on. Be very, very, very intentional about how you use your money. They are already talking about getting rid of the IRS. Okay. They're talking about cutting certain taxes federally, right? So you'll end up having more money in your check. But they're going to allow the states to charge you more, so you're still going to have to pay more for the services. Not to mention tariffs, right? So again, you got more money in your check, but now you still have to spend out more. You're just going to pay it in a different place. Get your money together, right? That is the equalizer. It is not going to get 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees. You can have as many degrees as you want to, but if your money ain't on par with theirs, you shot yourself in the foot. I'm gonna calm myself down. Get y'all money together.
Go ahead.
But also, I mean, to kind of sort of piggyback off of what Dee just said, don't think that wall is to keep other folks out.
Exactly.
In.
Yes.
Y'all are labor, by the way.
Putting parameters, and people thought, what are you moving abroad for? Y'all must be, I would never. Oh, America is the safest. Oh, we have it, it's the best country in the world, until you get outside of the States and you realize how regressive it is.
It is.
What were you going to say about me?
You took it out of my mouth. You took the words out of my mouth. Also, but the other thing I wanted to say too, as far as what I'm seeing right now with Black women, because this is very much a good conversation about moving forward. But I've seen a lot of Black women that are very tired with the status quo, and now they are trying themselves. I'm seeing it on social media more, trying to pick up the pieces after this, supporting one another in businesses. I'm very much seeing everybody is talking about follow me or follow these Black women, and trying to build some form of community after this, being very hurt because they're seeing that the white women, I think it was Latino men, were the ones, and women voted, and this is the outcome. This is the choice that they decided to make, and we very much have always been the ones to have to pick up the pieces after everything is over. And I think that Black women, we are very tired of that, and are trying to figure out how to establish something for us going forward.
Well, I think Black women already have the answer, because if you have created movements for everything in American society, then you know how to revert that energy onto you. And one of the things that it's about, getting in community with like-minded, like-hearted women without being judgmental, coming together with different levels of skill set. That's one of the things that I absolutely love about us here, is that none of us have the same skill set. None of it. I can't deal with the tiny house. I wouldn't even know what to do. Guess who I'm gonna call? I'm calling Jewel. I mean, when it comes to getting your money up and investing, that ain't my area of expertise. Dee's the person. Real estate, Bobby will real estate you all day to make sure you got a place to live. Yeah. If you want to get your business together, then I got you. I understand business foundation. That's one of the things that is concerning me, because everybody's like, create your business. To me, you should have had a business.
Oh, absolutely.
It shouldn't even be a conversation. There are certain boxes that you need to check for yourself when it comes to money, business. These are things that you need to be able to have. And then also you need to make sure that you are monetizing on your intellectual property. Stop giving away your shit for free.
That part.
I agree with everything that's been said. A few points that I would make to getting your passport. I mean, to me, I've been saying that for years. You have to have your passport. I've also said I don't leave home without my passport either. My passport is always on me, because as we're moving into this era that we're about to experience, you need to be ready at all points and all times. And I ain't got to go home to find it. I ain't got to get it out the safe. I ain't got to go. I'm nimble. That's my word, nimble, so that I can do what I need to do. My intent has not been to live abroad full time. Kind of what Dee was saying. You don't have to move out of the country. My tiny house will always, unless something really, really bad happens, and it's bad, but it will always be home base for me. But I want to be in the position so that I can leave and I can stay out for, times extended until I need to. So I'm also looking into getting residency so that I can do that in the right way, and doing that sooner than later. Like my intent, Tracie and I were talking about, my intent was to work on this at the first of the year. And now I got to work on it before this administration change, because I want to be ready. And the other thing, what Tracie, you were saying about us pouring into ourselves, like we should have already been doing that, getting into community with each other.
Yes.
We've already been doing that, because
I don't understand why we're so behind. Like, help me.
You
help me.
You have got to have your community. And with that, I think the other thing is, like, as I'm seeing some people hemming and hawing, like the people that you've seen this say, well, we built this country, I'm not leaving. My mindset is kind of like Sister Harriet. She let us know there are some people that can't go. And I'm not trying to spend time in convincing and doing all the things. Everybody gets to make that personal decision of what is best for them. But for me and my household, which is me, I already know the answer. My safety, my mental health,
Right.
all of that is paramount. And I already see how this is going, and I got to prioritize myself.
I also think that, yes, community is absolutely important, but you also have to be willing to put yourself out there. The community is not going to find you. Right. You need to go seeking people, women who are going to be able to pour into your life and that you can pour into others. You can't go into this thing with the gimme, gimme, gimme. That's also not going to work either. We have to get out of that mindset of gimme, gimme, gimme. We have to be willing to pour in and invest in not only ourselves, but others. If we're going to be able to go farther, we can go farther together. That I think someone has mentioned that before. You can go farther together. So get in these communities. There's tons of Facebook groups. There's tons of YouTube channels. If you want to know something, building a business, like Tracie was saying, watch her channels. Dee with finances, Jewel with tiny home downsizing may be the best option for you guys. Maybe to save a little money, and Jewel absolutely can teach you about making the house look like the best thing since sliced bread. Do you understand me? Her stuff is just amen. Okay. I just be like, when I grow up, that's all I'm saying. I mean, you have these resources, you have this, there are communities out there for you.
Can I say something really quick?
Mm-hmm. No, say something.
Also stop expecting Black women to work for free.
Oh, let me get up and go.
And I say that because you have four experts sitting in front of you in their respective fields. But folks will DM you, instant message you down, expecting you to give you your paid for, earned knowledge for free. not
Yes.
understanding that you have sacrificed, you have paid into you, you've invested into you, you've made the necessary mistakes, corrected them, and atoned for them in reference to your area of expertise, and you have perfected them. But they want you to give it, and that's one thing that we have got to stop. We have got to start treating each other the way we want to be treated, and that is with business and in interpersonal relationships.
Mhm.
And it requires us doing the work. As we talk about community and relationships, when you get to a certain age as a Black woman, sometimes you've been burnt from community and relationships, and so you've got your guard up. You're not trusting. But that requires you to do the work to recognize it's not everybody. It also requires you to do the work, as Bobby was saying, of that reciprocity. What are you bringing to the table, and not just expecting to take, but also to give. And then again, not everybody's where they need to be. So understanding, being able to recognize the signs right away when it is time to pivot, because this ain't the community for you. So you've got to be able to do the work to understand that not everybody is out to get you as a Black woman. There is some community that is out there where folks have done the work, they on point, and they, on their grown stuff, and you can take something to the community and take something back from the community and get what you need.
And also, don't be scared to try something new, also, because you may have some skills, you may have some talents, you may have some resources that lie dormant or untapped. And being amongst other people who are, or other women who are actually doing their thing or have found what they truly love to do, and just being amongst them can probably spark something in you to be able to start something. I'm talking about multiple business ideas, putting the hobbies to use, things that are going to move you forward. Because believe me, there are going to be some changes. They have already shown you that, right? They've just shown what Roe versus Wade was overturned. Whoever thought something like that was going to be overturned, or that was even going to be a topic of discussion here in 2024 and earlier? It was, and it had been overturned. So just think, if those things that were done in the past that we thought was over with, done with, we didn't put a bow on it, they can go back. I know Trump has mentioned many times about going back to 18 whatever. If people are talking and thinking like that, we have to think the opposite. We have to be on our toes, and we have to invest in ourselves, and we have to be able to scratch the surface of who we are and get out here and live, because they're not going to do it for us. I'm sorry. It's not going to be an easy path. I'm just going to say it. But you absolutely have the ability, Black women, to flourish even in this.
But I think that Black women, my question is, and this is an honest question, it's like, how many Black women really truly know that they are absolutely deserving of peace and abundance? Like, that's like a real question, because like Jules said, you have to be able to do the work on yourself. And in that work, you also have to know what you're working through and towards, is that you are deserving. You are deserving of love. You are deserving of peace. You are deserving of ease. You are deserving of everything abundant that is good, that your heart desires. You have to know that you are deserving. Once you start treating yourself better, then what you attract into your life becomes better.
Absolutely.
I
Hey,
want to just
Michelle.
go. Hey,
Oh, go
Michelle.
ahead.
I just want to go back to something Bobby mentioned. Bobby mentioned Roe v. Wade. In 2018, that's when the numbers of whites started to decline. They are going to be in the minority in 2045. That is 21 years from now. And to give a young Black woman the reins for 4 or possibly 12 of those 21 years, that doesn't work. That's the main reason we're in the situation we're in right now. Now, people allowed that one thing, the proximity to that one thing, to decimate them. And in turn, us, or not us, I don't want to say Black people, right? Those are the people that are going to feel it the worst, in the worst way. So you gotta, right now, I mean, I am so serious about this. It is not just about, somebody mentioned something about getting your grown up on, getting your adult on, getting your woman on, right? And that means whatever talents you have to get busy in those and make those things work for you, but you also have to activate your money. In this week, I trade, right? And I'm not encouraging anyone to trade. I'm just telling you how active it was. I trade with people that do not look like me and are not my same gender. They made millions of dollars individually, I'm talking, through trading, because they know the way you make money is you cut things. You're going to cut departments, and departments are going to allow companies to have to cut workforce.
Absolutely.
Workforce, all right? Put your money to work for you while you're getting your own separate thing going. Have everything working for you, right? So that you're prepared for whatever comes your way. And again, I want to go back to this getting your passport. They've got these things in line already. They're already slowing the process down. Okay? They're already slowing it down. So I'm sorry, you can go back to the other points you were making.
I was going to also say this too, because in the chat, it seems like there are a lot of ladies who are really talking about being tired and wanting to get out. So I definitely want to address this as some options, because even upon doing some research and looking at things online, I am seeing even Black women being very creative with how they're even going about moving abroad. One example of this is that there are a lot of women who are getting together to do co-living spaces. They're looking to rent out big, beautiful homes in these countries, and they're sharing the space with other women, which means that you're splitting the costs. So what would have been, I'm just throwing out here as an example, what would have been maybe a $1,500 to $1,800 house with 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, they're splitting the cost of that and each having a room and a bathroom, and they're sharing the common spaces. And so for someone like that, they're spending maybe an average of, we're looking at $600, maybe $700 a month with their utilities included. And they are doing this, they are living like this and being able to travel to other places as well, have a little bit of autonomy and freedom, if you will, but still being able to leave the United States. And maybe also be able to do the same thing in multiple places, not just maybe staying in one. They may be able to rent houses in different places and be able to go back and forth. So they're looking at there's a lot of creative things that's going on in the Black community as far as Black women. So these are options to even look at and consider. If you have a group of friends or something like that and you all want to do it, I mean, there are options, there's a ways around it. And I think there's a lot of Facebook groups now being started in the process of co-living or have even been out here for co-living. So just know that there's options too if you're looking to get out.
And the Facebook groups that Bobby is talking about, one of the main conversation threads is, I don't have enough money. How do I make money? How am I going to make money abroad? And with exactly what Z said, you have to have multiple things going on at the same time and utilizing your skill sets to be able to make money from them. And I think this time is going to require people, as you guys start to do your work, looking at things that you are absolutely good at. I encourage you guys, list at least 10 things that you're good at. Then you figure out, how can I monetize off of each and every one of those things? Like, there's ways, and I've been in the digital space for a very long time. You can't pay me to take my Black ass to clock in. I would fail. I would absolutely fail. And that's real talk. And it's because I've been so comfortable
true.
in the digital space for so long. And I think if that is something that you are used to trading your time, your physical presence for money, you need to think about and learn about, get certain certifications that you need under your belt to make sure that you can monetize what you know, because you can make more money off of what you know versus what you do.
Absolutely.
Two
It's
things.
time. Go
Two
ahead.
things. Two things I would say back to Dee's, and I think Bobby, you were talking about it too. I think we need to get clear on some of the things. So, like Roe versus Wade, that is not about Black bodies. That's
It's
about
really
white bodies, because they are going to be in the minority. So white women, they want to prevent white women from having abortion so they can boast their numbers.
Yep.
And we got caught in the crossfire, because if it was about us, they wouldn't care. Abort Black bodies and babies, because they don't care.
Yeah.
So you always have to look at the intent behind this thing, and it is always for them to improve their standing. The second thing is, as ways to travel abroad, I would also speak to house sitting. That's one of the main ways folks are able to be abroad, in because a main thing of it is your housing. And so if house sitting, then that takes care of your housing, allows you time to visit an area, and see all the things, and not have to worry about the cost. So that's also an option. But and instead of, again, having to reinvent the wheel, getting in spaces where this is being discussed, where people are doing this work, not getting in those spaces. I have seen so many conversations in some of these spaces. Tell me how I do this. Do some of your own research. Like, don't expect somebody to
diligent.
tell you steps 1 to 10, unless you're paying them for consultation. But
Yes.
doing some of your own pre-work and researching, and then listening in those spaces, versus trying to, again, get the free labor. You bring something to it so that you're learning, but putting yourself in those spaces. And a lot of this requires vulnerability. To start with, I'm not in the place, I haven't planned ahead, this caught me off guard. That's okay. But also knowing that you shouldn't expect somebody to guide you in all the ways. Some of this is work that you're going to have to do from a place of being vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And the thing is too, like, Jewel, there's so many of us who want to help. You know, there's so many of us who have skill sets and expertise and knowledge, and who have made the leap. We have been abroad for a little over a year now, and started traveling back and forth to Mexico in particular since May of 2022. So for us, like, the abroad experience really is going on 3 years come this May, and have scouted multiple parts of this country. But that came with a heavy monetary investment on our side. It really did. And we had to make sure that not only we had the resources, but we had to do our due diligence.
I also say this because, again, we're talking about people, leaving the United States, Black women leaving the United States. I don't want this to be a decision that's just primarily made out of fear either.
Right.
Because after the fear comes failure. Because when things don't go your way, the first thing that probably wind up happening is that you're running back.
Yeah.
And so fear cannot be the only or the primary motivation to your decision if that's what you're trying to do. You have to also look at it. The reasons why, I know, Jewel, you're going to be living here with us part-time, so I'm
a handcuff when she get here.
Me too. And lose the key. But
there it is. We see how we go. We already
absolutely.
figured it out.
Absolutely. But also too, I just want to say that this the reasons why we all moved here, out of the United States, wasn't just because of the United States.
No.
For us, especially us, we're here in Mexico. It is one of the most beautiful countries. Looking for a change and new opportunities. relishing in our experiences, whether good or bad, because I'm going to say it, not everything is going to be rosy and peaches and cream. But we have a different mindset and a drive, and you can't have the fear to be that motivating. It can help spur you, but long term, it is definitely not a solution. Because what I will tell you this, there were a lot of people who said that they wanted to get out the United States, and they were planning and they were getting ready to pack up and buy tickets. And then they heard Kamala was going to be the candidate. And then, oh my gosh, as quickly as they were talking about leaving, they were like, no, maybe we need to consider this. We need to stay here. We need to know. Then what was your motivation for moving? Because even if she had have gotten into office, that still wouldn't have changed my decision about moving to another country, right? This was just something that definitely was in my heart and wanted to do. And I feel like that we are global citizens, and we have the right, and I'm saying it again, we have the right to live where we want to live.
Let me say this too. For me, for us, I would not have met any of these women on this screen and some of them in the chat and be as close as I am to them had I not left the United States.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, have like really deep-seated quality relationships that's not based on superficiality or competition or judgment, but to really be each other's cheerleader and to really bring something to the table and to have some substance, but also that level of being quiet and vulnerability so you can learn and absorb as well. And putting yourself out there is absolutely going to require you to stretch. And people don't like being uncomfortable. People love complacency. They don't want to do the necessary work. But I encourage, and I think what I get so frustrated with is because I see Black women put in the work for everybody else but themselves.
Yes.
I just don't understand that logic. I don't. One of my things is absolutely recoining the interpretation of selfishness, because it's really about self-preservation. When you say no to other things and other people, you're ultimately saying yes to yourself.
100%. And I think being here too, and I'm gonna ask Jewel this. If you had this sense of feeling of when you first arrived here, of not being just a Black woman, but just being a human being someone who was free to explore, free to just be and exist and have a little bit of peace about it. And that's what I felt being living abroad. It's a different experience, but Jill, can you talk about that?
Sure. So it's kind of before I answer your question, what I wanted to also mention is that we, in considering living outside the U.S., we also have to check our biases, because being a citizen of the United States, the God bless America and all of these things, the United States is the greatest country. Everybody else is, that offensive third world country, all of those things that we've heard. And then you take those biases to other places, and it is so disrespectful. And you have to leave all of that crap in the United States.
You do.
I've also seen so many people in some of the conversations this week. I want to go to a U.S. speaking country. That again is privilege. And so we have some privileges. Like, we don't have white privilege, but we have some privileges, U.S. privilege. And to expect that you can go into a foreign country and require them to speak English is privilege 101. Like, learn a language, or be vulnerable enough to go into a place and recognize that you're in their home. Like, I'm not going to come to somebody else's house and expect that they adjust to me and accommodate me in their house. That's just foul. And that's the way we have to think about it in going to these countries, and understand that what we've been taught, the commercials, with the starving kids and the flies and the dogs and all that kind of stuff, that is U.S. propaganda, and we need to recognize that is what we've been taught.
Yeah.
Bobby, to answer your question, so me coming to San Miguel, I have shared openly that I experienced a medical, a major medical thing in December 23rd. I had a mini stroke. And so I spent the majority of 2024 surgery, recuperating, all of those things. By the time when I came to San Miguel, my intent of coming to San Miguel was I knew I was on the tail end of my surgeries and I needed to reset my nervous system. I had been focused on healing my physical body and recovering my physical body, but I then recognized I had not had an opportunity to focus on my emotional and my mental, and I needed that reset. And that is how I picked San Miguel to come to. I didn't expect, because I am very much a loner, introvert. And when I say loner, I don't mean that in a bad way, because I enjoy my own company all day, every day. It is peaceful. So I don't mean that in a bad way. And I do have connections, but I am very much an introvert as well. Like I need alone time. I didn't expect to come out and be the social butterfly.
That happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be out social butterflying. I tell you, San Miguel has some magic to it. So I'm a Panama. Panama is my place. I adore Panama, and it is on my list of places that I will live. But San Miguel had some magic, and the magic of a beautiful community that a beautiful and genuine community that really is focused on community. And I socialized. I didn't even do any of the work that I had on my to-do list that I was supposed to be doing for my tiny house stuff because I was out socializing. And at some point, and I think I even said it to Tracie, I don't even know who I am right now because I don't socialize like this. I socialize more in these 3 weeks than I have in the US the entire year.
Yes.
But it was all love. It was when I left, I didn't even recognize how much I needed that. And how important that was to my mental and emotional healing. And so absolutely, that was my experience in San Miguel. And it is how I now have so much love for San Miguel because I have a sisterhood there. I have a family there. I have City Market. We not going to. Y'all did not think I was going to get on here and not talk about City Market.
I knew you was.
My favorite grocery store in the whole world, and Bobby's City Market on them today, and him and Tracie sending me videos of City Market. I was like, now you know that's foul.
Yes.
But I went
They're just trying to get you your fix. That's all.
Yeah.
I went to a whole country. I don't like going to the grocery store. I don't even like cooking. But when I tell y'all in 3 weeks, I probably went to City Market about 8 times, just in there walking around looking at people waiting.
Listen, I thought they was gonna change the name from City Market to Jewel's Market.
Right.
I might try to get a job there when I come back.
I just love it so much. I just want to work. I just want to be here.
The first day you gonna be there touching and squeezing stuff, not working.
I just take my time like an old person going down the aisles and stuff.
Lining up everything.
It was a beautiful, I was so full. And it was so much of what I needed that I didn't even really know I needed. And I appreciate you all. I appreciate being able to sit here right now with you all like we've been friends for many, many years and we haven't. But there was that connection. I shared my food with Dee, and me and Dee been cool ever since.
Don't buy nothing when you go out to dinner with her. She ain't gonna eat it all. I eat the rest of
She does. That's absolutely true.
So it was a beautiful thing. And that is, I think, the thing that we don't recognize because we have been so brainwashed into thinking the United States is it. And you don't recognize the beauty of being seen in another country. Folks, and one of the things that stood out for me in San Miguel, and I ain't encouraging y'all to go to San Miguel because I don't want y'all to crowd out the city. So let me clear that up.
And if you come, don't bring no bad energy with you either.
No. Absolutely not. But one of the things that felt good to me. So I can say this. So I will wear a t-shirt that said something about a Black woman, a jacket, anything about Black womanhood. When I wear that here in Charlotte, I know that I potentially may need to defend what I have on. I shouldn't have to, but I may have to. I can tell you many, many years ago, my daughter attended Harvard Law. Many years ago, I was in the post office and had on a shirt from Harvard Law. And old white man felt like he could ask me how I had the right to wear a t-shirt. Do you even know where that is? First of all, who are you speaking to? But the privilege that they feel in questioning our choices, that is something that happens here on a regular. And I know that as proud as I am to be a Black woman and whatever I might wear, I know there's a potential, and I know it's going to get worse, that somebody is going to feel comfortable in asking me the what and the why and the how I feel. That's not anything that I experienced in San Miguel. I was free to be a full Black woman. I was seeing there were so many people who actually made eye contact and smiled. So when I go to other cities, I don't feel uncomfortable, but there's not a lot of eye contact and smiling. There was a lot of eye contact and smiling with the locals there, and that was a different experience for me. I sat and I watched children running around in the courtyard playing one evening without a care in the world, and that to me was beautiful. Kids being kids. We don't recognize how much we're missing out on enjoying life and slowing down as is done in other countries. I always speak to how you'll see the elderly are revered in other countries, where the young people are walking down the street, they've got their arm out and grandma is holding on to the arm, or they're out enjoying dinner and it's several generations and they're in conversation. That is the family is something that is very key outside of the United States. And that is something that we have no idea of what we're missing, because oftentimes we'll feel like we feel sorry for them that they don't have, and they have way more than we have.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was gonna say something, I forgot though.
Sorry, I said
D, you were gonna say something. I want to leave so bad.
You know what it was?
No.
You know I'm old. Quit playing with me.
No. Now, Tony, I can actually speak to this because when I left the United States in 2023, we had already been traveling in and out of Mexico. And let me speak specifically about Mexico. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I know in the United States, Latin America, there is a proximity to whiteness. And so me being from the Bay Area, having grown up with Mexican people my entire life, when I tell you guys, when you leave those walls of those borders of the United States, they're not the same over here. I was in an Uber getting ready to meet Bobby this past week. We went shopping this week, and in his broken English and my severely broken Spanish, the Uber driver and I had a conversation, and he said, "Today's election day." And I said, "Yes." And so the conversation went on, but I remember saying, we're not safe in the United States as Black people. And so then the conversation continued to go on. And he said to me, he says, "You guys are such beautiful people." They recognize your greatness and who you are. And those over there do too. However, they're just afraid of karma, but we're not talking about that. It's really about when you release yourself from those shackles and be able to free yourself and to experience the things that Jewel just talked about, how much your world opens up. And you are able to create real human connections that are actually based on the things that they should be.
That's not to say, so you touched on this a bit, that's not to say there aren't challenges in
Right.
other
Oh,
countries.
absolutely.
No places Yeah.
that proximity to whiteness is a disease that's all over the world.
Ooh, yes.
Outside of the US, it is so much of it's much often more about colorism, the proximity to whiteness. What is the color of your skin? And you'll notice that the lighter skinned folks are treated better, and they're in the front of the store, they're in the front of the restaurant, those types of things. So colorism does exist. It is not necessarily the same as racism. It is a ugly thing, but it's not the same power struggle that we have here. There's also the danger of Black folks being accosted by the police or killed by the police. That's not something that you're going to be experiencing. So it's not to say it's this the Garden of Eden once you leave the United States. Every place has its shit. But it's not the same nasty, deep shit as the United States. And that's something that is a consideration.
It's not the deep ingrained crap that
everybody wasn't gonna say shit like I was gonna
say. We working on her.
I'm gonna teach you to cuss by the end of the year, though. Huh? I'm gonna teach you to cuss by the end of the year.
Right, we're working on her.
Oh Lord, but you are right. There is always going to be challenges, right? There's challenges that you're experiencing in the United States. Let's be clear. You are experiencing challenges. My question to you is that if you are already experiencing challenges, what's the difference? Because you're going to have responsibilities. You're going to have situations and issues that occur. You're just in a new place, a new environment. Get to learn that. And somebody just said the police will be free to kill us without consequences. It doesn't make a difference if they had consequences, because some of them just willing to go because of hatred. But
go ahead. Sorry, that comment just stuck out to me as well. You said the police will be free to kill us. Anyone will be free to kill us. I literally saw 2 days ago, I guess it was election night, I saw a stocky white man up in a Black woman's face doing this. He said, I will punch you in the face multiple times, very close to this woman's face, right? It took an Asian man to come and get him away from that woman. But it will not just be the police. They have given license to people to stand their ground, whether they're standing their ground or not, right? That ain't the place for you, y'all. And
go ahead.
I've had big guns pulled on me here, but it was a mistake, and I lived, right?
Yeah.
A single gun would have gotten me killed in the U.S., and I know that to be true.
Absolutely. You will live to see another day.
And if you have children, please make sure your children have passports. Please
yes.
Make sure your children have passports. All of my kids, they got passports. Every single last, before we even left, they've had passports. And they have all traveled outside of the United States. So they have at least had an experience. And one of them is actually planning their exit strategy as we speak. So they have at least experiences. When my son came here, he was like, my son is 6'4", a Black chocolate man with locks.
Yeah.
And I tell you, he and his sister were able to go out in the streets of where we live and be unbothered and be able to experience life just like a person. And he said that alone was enough to give him a glimpse of what it would be like outside of the United States. I'm a helicopter mom when it comes to stalking my kids.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stalk them once they leave. It's like, okay, where you at? You good? All right. Because I know they don't have that level of threat above them. And let me say this too about healthcare. Having experienced healthcare abroad, personally, I think we all have to some degree. Bobby has had, you broke your foot. Dee has had procedures here. I have experienced healthcare too abroad. The time that they take with you just to listen to what you have to say, I'm not being rushed. I'm not being judged because of my color, and they're not minimizing my symptoms because of the color of my skin. And they're not saying, and that's a blood pressure cuff, right? And that blood pressure is pretty good, by the way.
I have high blood pressure, but not here. That my blood pressure, I swear to God, I just took that earlier today. My blood pressure says 103/68.
Oh, God.
Very good. Very good.
See?
Very good. But I say that to say there are things here that will make your life less stressful and easier if you just take a chance, even if you just take a scouting trip.
Yes.
Go and see. Just go and see, or live part-time. Jewel will have her house in the States, and then she'll spend the majority of her time here. You see how I said that though?
Yeah.
I'm saying she still has a home base. If you don't like it, you can always go back, but you definitely have to check your biases. You also have to be willing to stretch and monetize on what you know. Get your money up and get your debt down. Get your money up and get your debt down.
Get your mindset right.
Cut out the unnecessary spending. When I knew I wanted to leave, I stopped buying plants. I love plants. I'll buy a plant just because it's a Tuesday. I stopped buying, and that was when they knew I was serious. But stop spending money on frivolous things. If it is not adding to your ultimate goal, whatever that is, then reduce your spending. And it's going to require a change of habit in some things. But remember, like, fear can't be your reason. Like, fear shouldn't even be your reason to come together with Black women. That shouldn't even be your reason. Unfortunately, it took this level of incident to happen in order for y'all, others, to be like, oh, wait a minute. We can't play insanity anymore. We actually have to do something different.
One of the things to that, get your money up. One of the things that I share in my consultations with people who are interested in building a tiny home, when in 2012, when I decided I was building a tiny house, I created a savings account. You can name a savings account, and so in my account, it was Tiny House Fund. And when I was spending money, seeing that account would remind me of what my goal was. And so oftentimes I would just be sliding money over there that I might have gone to buy something else with. And seeing that account grow was the encouragement for me of knowing when I was hitting my goal of what I had to do. And so a separate fund to specifically indicate what it is that you're working for is oftentimes a lot of motivation to you, to get yourself together, figuring out how you're wasting money eating out. And I'm good for eating out. Shopping, all of the things, cutting cable, think about it. So many little things, some subscriptions that you got that you ain't using. Maybe it's your gym membership that you ain't using, or that you could YouTube and work out from home. There's so many ways, and there are even some apps that will tell you how you're wasting money or where your money is going, so you can analyze that. But having that savings account for me was everything in helping me. And I've got one again now to help me know what it is that I'm saving for. So it's some of those little things that is the mindset that to help you make this change.
And also, if you're looking to move and thinking about it in the future, downsize. I'm just gonna say downsize. I'm the first one to tell you, I was buying the latest greatest. I'm just gonna say it. If I wanted it, I was going to buy it. But when we made this decision, it was, you know what, we need to get rid of this stuff. A lot of the stuff that you get, you are also able to go ahead and sell and make a little money off of that to help that fund that Jewel was talking about, right? Could help contribute to that moving abroad fund. So, slowly, and this is for those that are serious. I'm not talking about those who are just tossing it around in their heads and may make a decision not too later. I'm talking about those who have been messaging and texting and calling and and looking up videos and really saying that this is what they want to do. Yes, start decluttering and make your life a little bit easier to make that transition when it's time.
I want to jump in on that. I still maintain a home in Georgia, right? And I have not gotten rid of all my stuff. I want you guys to do something. Look around your house and mentally add up stuff in your house, right? I got nice stuff in my house, y'all. Pottery Barn, When I tried to sell some of it, hey, Mama Elwanda, hey, y'all. I'm
Where
sorry.
is
Hey,
she?
Marla.
Elwanda in the house, y'all. We got to welcome her.
Literally, Elvonda is in the house. That's my mom, y'all. She has joined us
What's up,
late.
Mama?
The
But
very
good.
nice stuff that I have in my house that I hold so near and dear, when I try to sell it, don't nobody want my crap. Or they want to offer me something very small for it. So all the money that I invested in these things, nobody wants it. And ultimately it doesn't mean anything, right? What means something to me is peace of mind. And that is doing nothing but putting an anchor on your ankle. That's all it's doing. Start to declutter. And this is the time for getting, the term stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. This when you
Yep.
go and get ready, y'all, before you don't have an opportunity to do so.
And decluttering isn't just about monetary thing. I'm sorry, things. It is also about relationships. If you need to detach yourself from relationships that are not serving your greater good, then start that process too. I don't care if you stay in the States or move abroad, but we have to be focused. It's about laser vision. Also, I'm going to drop my link, and I'll have the other ladies drop their link in the chat. If you want to stay connected to us, first of all, their channels are linked in the YouTube description. But this is going to be my second to live last until 2025. I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more. I'm exhausted. So come next Friday will be my last live for the year for 2024. So if you want to stay connected, know what we have going on. I know, like, I'm releasing programs for 2025 if you are interested in leveling up your business. I'm about investing into yourself so you can, I will teach you how to fish when we talk about creating and monetizing things off of what you know and the skill sets that you bring to the table. So you guys drop your links in the chat. Also, be sure to follow them as well. But we're here to help for people who are serious. And I want you guys to be able to, and my prayer is that people can start thinking outside of the box. And I know the United States has done a fantastic job with propaganda. They have done an amazing job. But what I also know is they will teach you and tell you that we as Black people are the worst people in the world. But they suppress us at the same time because they know how great we are. So with that being said, it's about time we use all of that energy that we have propelled on other people and amplified them to turn it on yourself. Stop waiting for something else to happen. Stop waiting and waiting and see. Your happiness should be enough. Your health and peace of mind and safety should be enough. And for me, I didn't care who won. It wasn't about like who won for me. It's really about your systems are still the same. I care about the systems that are in place. I care about the systems. And when you talk about women can't have reproductive rights, oh, I'm out.
Yes, absolutely. And Tracie is right. D, you gotta have to help me put mine in the chat because I'm not connected. But
Right.
but
Which one
I
you
will
want?
say, can you
I
put
have
both?
the prepared agent in there. You can put whatever.
Prepared agent and aging grateful. But I definitely want to say this too. If you guys are coming to San Miguel, do yourself a favor and book with me for neighborhood tours and real estate. But for real, guys, use those funds that you're downsizing with. And I'm just saying this, I don't care if it's 3, 4 years, 5 years out. You absolutely need to go ahead and start at least traveling, at least seeing other countries, at least, places like Africa. See yourself, celebrate you. Let this coming up 2025 be the year of yes for you, be the year of yourself, year of the Black woman, if you want to call it that. Let this be all about you. Get rid of the stress, relax, take your sabbaticals, take your rest, ease. I think Tracie always used to say, if it ain't pleasurable, I ain't doing it.
I live my life.
Listen.
Well,
and so
if it don't make me feel good, I ain't doing it.
So obviously this election has brought about the fact that there's no pleasure in it. So let's stop even dealing with it. let's start. The election has come and gone, and America has made its decision, but that decision does not have to be yours. And
Right.
so get up and get out.
Yeah.
Silver Shirley, is that
Mm.
Mississippi?
Yes.
Hmm. Get your plan in place, baby. Don't
Yes.
and get in community with people. You don't have to be frustrated. Don't suffer in silence. Get with people that will help you through all of this.
Absolutely.
Dee, can you drop the Black and SMA Facebook group too?
Yes.
If you are interested in being in community with Black people in San Miguel de Allende, number one, please make sure your profile reflects that you are a Black person, because there's
Yes.
3 admins in there, and this admin right here, I will scour your profile page. If you are not Black, I'm not letting you in. And I say that because it is really about creating and protective spaces, because we deserve that. And then also, we need to pull that group off of Facebook. Get your shit off of social media.
Oh my
That
gosh.
really wasn't where I was going with it, because, and I'm talking really about messaging and the information that is shared. Because if Black women are going to take this time, this 4 years beyond, to really be selfish, then you have to start doing things that give you a certain level of security and
And
protection,
peace. Mhm.
and in the cyberspace. So with that being said, we don't want to trust Mark Zuckerberg with all of our information all the time.
Heck no.
Not just him. Twitter, y'all. And by the way, he's trying to buy CNN.
Yeah, I just heard that.
Yeah.
So I dropped several links earlier in the chat. I actually dropped my blog in there, and there's some resources. I have a Black Women Who Lead blog, a weekly blog that I do. And in that blog, I provide a little bit more information regarding whatever topic that I feel is worthy of the week. So I'm dropping that link again. So if you want access to that, but Jewel, drop your link in the chat, or I'll drop it.
I put her in there already.
Oh, thank you.
And I also did a free download. So for those of you guys who are interested in starting a business, that is a business model structure that you can kind of go off of when we talk about business planning. So that's something in there for you.
Also, I just saw somebody talk about they're planning for their 1 year out once their son graduates high school. And then you got to start taking temporary trips because they can't stay here constantly. Take your son with you, please.
People are abroad with their children.
Please take your children with you, Black ladies, Black women. It's not just us, it is our legacy, our history, our future rather. And so they need to see that they have options too.
Right, exactly.
They really need to see. That was one of the wonderful things that I say I have given my daughter, is the experience to be abroad, and for her to see something other than what the United States has to offer in their plans. And so now that she has this experience of being able to see that there is life outside of the United States, that's the greatest gift that I think I could ever have given her, is that. So don't let your kids stop you from moving abroad. There are ways to educate. There are beautiful school systems abroad. Don't let having your children be the stopping point for you, because they will thrive, they will exceed, they will be happy, and they will see something of beauty and be able to experience other people loving on them as Black men and women or children. So please don't let that be a stopping point. I just wanted to address that.
So I had to step away, so my apologies. Y'all were just talking a bit about the downsizing, and so I wanted to step back to that since that's kind of in the area that I work in.
Yes.
There is in the United States, there's so much tied up with things that you own and things that you have, and what that looks like from a perspective of wealth. And that's what the United States is perpetuates, that American dream that's really not for us. And so in being able to be nimble, which is the word that we need to be adopting, and being able to leave the United States, we have to start shedding some of that stuff, and we have to start downsizing some of that stuff. And that has been my journey in a tiny house. I've lived in my home for 10 years now. The downsizing, and there is so much lightness, so much liberation in the downsizing, in me living in a small space. And we don't recognize how much stuff holds us back and how heavy stuff can be. And we also have an attachment to things because as if we talk about as Black people, owning things is something for us culturally because we've not been able to own things. As we get into this state where we feel like we are evolving, we want to own more and more things because that is the psyche of being deprived of owning things. And so I want to recommend a book, a very good friend of mine, Christine Platt, the Afro minimalist on the social.
Yeah.
He wrote a book, Living with Less, something, I'm gonna mess it up. Christine Platt, the Afro minimalist, her book speaks to our attachment to things and why it is so much of an emotional and a psychological thing and how to move through that. In downsizing, as I talk about tiny houses, there's so much benefit in downsizing. Some of that stuff you can sell that is going to make you money that you can put in that account that I was just talking about. Some of the things that you find it hard to part with, family members that ain't leaving the United States, allow them to take that stuff so you can go visit it. Taking stuff to not the Goodwill, but to places that you know are maybe helping young women get to seeking employment who need clothes for jobs and things like that, so that you know your clothes or your furniture is going to help a new family just getting started, so you know that it's going on to a second life. Some of that is good for your energy, that you know you're doing good and putting stuff out in the world. But there is so much lightness in living with less and in getting down to a point where that you can travel lighter and you don't even recognize, like, stuff has been associated, having stuff and the overwhelm of stuff, like the hoarding has been associated with mental illness and dementia. And we don't even recognize those connections. So that is a good place to start. Like, if you don't know where to start right now, you're not at your point where you can leave. Those are some of the things that you could be focused on right now to help yourself and keep yourself occupied in the downsizing process. And that is, Tracie has said, the selfishness, like, we have to remove that negative connotation that we've always had with selfishness and associate it more with self-care. And that's not getting a manicure and a pedicure. Self-care is taking care of yourself physically and emotionally. It is the downsizing. It is all of the things to heal yourself, and not just taking a bath. And I'm not saying those things aren't good, but we're talking about really focused on the self-care that we need right now.
And
I just want to add to that.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
I just want to add to that your mental health, because now we're talking about fear. We're talking about going underground. All these things, that's going to play with you emotionally, and especially if you have not developed the community to surround yourself with and get you through this process. I am not going to mention anyone in particular, but we have people in this community that can help you get to take you through this emotionally and bring you back down to the sense that you need to be, to the calm that you need to make it through this. So seek those professionals out, please.
Absolutely. We should always be talking to a therapist. Always.
Oh, absolutely.
Therapists have therapists.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Exactly. They have to listen to all our crap.
Absolutely.
I think Christine is saying about people be caught up in the holidays and she'll be preparing for her departure early next year. Listen, give yourself this gift. This is the election has happened. It's over. It's done. And if you are serious about moving forward, give yourself the gift of being able to create or reimagine a new life for yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't spend it on the gift. Your family and friends will be okay. They'll be okay not getting the gift. You can say, you know what? My mental, emotional, physical health is much more important. And there's some things that I need to do to prepare myself for that. So absolutely. Holidays.
I want to say something about Christmas. People get all caught up in that time frame, and then January, February, when those bills come, now you're in a depressed state because you got to
Right.
pay for all that stuff. And you're still paying for the stuff because now you have interest on it. Please, what she's saying, Christmas ain't no Christmas. Your Christmas is
Cancel it. Cancel Christmas.
Christmas is canceled, y'all.
Right.
We got
They're canceling everything
Here's
else.
your present. Here your passport. Here your passport. That's your Christmas present. Period. That's it.
The gift can come early. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the holidays are really about, should be about spending time with family. So if you know you're working on a plan to do better for your family, then that's how you start. We're changing. We're not spending the money that we need to spend or we would normally spend. We're going to be saving that money. We're going to be focused on family because we are going to do the things to liberate our family. And that's the priority.
Yes.
Yeah, and that too is about redirecting your energy back onto you and the things that you absolutely love and love you back. I think how I live my life is self-care should be free first, meaning you need to create your space that you reside in should be nurturing to you and implement practices on a daily basis to where they become so habitual that you don't even realize that this is a part of your self-care routine. And so with that being said, part of that is canceling Christmas. Part of that is not serving things that no longer serve you. Part of that is the decluttering. Part of that is making sure that you take your children abroad so you give them a broader experience. And to be honest, if I had the knowledge that I had now when I was raising my kids, I would not have raised them in the United States. I would have raised them abroad and let that be their level of education, because that kind of education will be the ultimate level of education for your children. And there are people who are world schooling their children.
World schooling. I was just going to say that same word.
Get Out says, thanks taking. Guys, create a new normal for yourself. Have a Friendsgiving, right? Friendsgiving. Get together with your friends and family. Everybody bring a dish. Don't take all of that stuff on yourself. And plan. That's what you do.
Christine agreed with it. Christmas is canceled. Christine said Christmas is canceled.
Yeah, it is.
So to remain connected with us, I did put the Facebook group in there. Again, it's Black SMA. Again, make sure your profile represents who you are, and your profile picture and also your profile, because I'm that admin that scrubs your profile. So, and if it doesn't, I will deny you, and make sure you answer the questions too, because again, this is about creating protective, safe spaces for us. And so if you can't honor that coming in, you don't need to be there.
Welcome,
any last words? Oh, hello, Nikki Woo.
Hello, Nikki Woo.
Oh, needed this more than ever. Exactly. We want to make sure that we let other Black women know that you guys have options. Yeah. And if you don't like your choices, then just change them. You always have a choice. And I think United States has done a great job in mentally conditioning us in particular, because we are the worst to deem us to not have a choice. That is absolutely incorrect. You are your greatest value. You are your greatest asset. Utilize it.
I love us. I love us.
I do too. I love each and every one of y'all. Y'all can all spend a night in my house. We can have a big old slumber party.
Yes.
We go eat and talk shit.
Yeah, wings.
All right, but our wingman is at your house.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, well, guess where we going?
We're gonna cook them. And just so you know, we got the guys are supposed to be cooking Thanksgiving dinner or
yes,
they are. The women, we not doing nothing.
That's right.
No,
they're gonna be demure all day.
Come here.
Yeah, we're gonna be demure.
You guys are absolutely welcome. Please make sure to follow each and every one of these women. If you are commenting, I already know that you guys are following me. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the very first time. If you are meeting us for the very first time, we absolutely appreciate you. Again, take care of you and make sure that you do something different in order to get something different that you deserve.
Boom, there you go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Take care of yourselves. All right. Thank you so much. What?